Hello there, we are here at the Festival of HealthTech and we have with us Mr. Rahul Adakmol. Thank you, Mr. Adakmol, for joining us here at the Festival of HealthTech. I want to understand from you, you had a panel about the amount of counterfeit and substandard drugs that we are dealing with in India. How big of a challenge do you think that is in India?
Yeah, so I think, as I mentioned that substandard drugs and the spurious medicines or counterfeits for that matter is a big challenge, not only in India but also worldwide. And as one of the WHO, kind of studies clearly have said, 75 low and medium income countries, when they analyzed, kind of lab reports about the medicines, at overall level they found almost like 10+% medicines which are of kind of substandard, and that's a big percentage when it comes to a kind of large scale. And I would like to believe that if India is also not an exception for that, though we don't have a specific statistics about India, but even in India this is a kind of a big problem for us.
So, in the context of India, when we talk about spurious drugs and substandard drugs and the challenge that India is tackling, can more regulation help?
Yeah, I think, see, there are three, four aspects about this. One is, what is the law enforcement for, kind of, when such thing is, kind of identified. So we have a law which criminalizes, kind of, proliferation of the counterfeit and spurious drugs. Second piece is important is also from a regulatory side, where the regulator has certain, kind of standards mentioned about the drug quality. I think from a regulatory and a law point of view, I think we have the provisions. But important piece for this kind of problem, which is very big problem, is how these multiple disciplines come together to tackle this problem. I think for us, we still have kind of distance to travel to find out a working model to have kind of addressing a kind of to have a solution which will address this kind of a big problem. We are addressing it in pieces wherever we are kind of, so I'm talking about talking from a point of view of a pharma industry. So when such thing is identified for our brand, we kind of follow certain kind of consorted efforts. But again, that is been done at individual companies level, at individual brand level, right? We need to have much broader kind of mechanism for kind of addressing this issue.
Right, right. Also, in the West and in the more developed world, there is be it UK or US, there is this voluntary recall mechanism when there is a when there is a substandard drug. There's a reportage of that. There is a it's incumbent on the company to recall all its batches. In India, we don't have that kind of mechanism at this point in time. Only voluntary recalls happen, like the Digene from Abbott recently happened. Do you think mechanisms like that will add to the, will strengthen the regulatory process in India?
So I think it won't be fair to say India doesn't have it. I think India also has it because our GMP code, the Good Manufacturing Practices Code, necessitates us if there is a kind of identified product problem which is relatable to certain batch numbers, it is obligatory for the manufacturers to recall those batches. So I think from a provision point of view, regulatory provision point of view, we have that provision. And I think if there are instances like this, it is obligatory, mandatory for the manufacturer to recall these batches in India as well.
Do you think pharmacovigilance of the drug detection, spurious drug detection or substandard drug detection is strong in India?
So I think again pharmacovigilance is kind of picking up well in India, I would say. A lot of companies have now started putting a very strong systems for kind of strengthening pharmacovigilance. And I think we still have, as I said, we are evolving as an economy, as an industry. We still have long distance to go. But I think nowadays you would see majority of responsible pharmaceutical companies insist that if there is a kind of adverse event related to the medicines, it needs to be reported, and that reporting mechanism is already kind of established to a large extent. There are a lot of companies putting resources behind analyzing this type of adverse events, taking corrective actions against it. If it is, as I said, if it is related to a batch, or if it is related to a systemic manufacturing related issue, it is obligatory for companies to report back to the regulator. Regulators are taking actions on it. So I think as a country, I think we are progressing very rapidly on that side. And I think on the drug quality, product quality also, you would see that loop getting closed, and more patients getting kind of quality medicines.